Hello, Chris. My hair is wet because I just took a shower, and you know what that means. That means you get to watch my hair slowly dry over the course of the video. Now, Cheesewells, as we all know, Chris missed his last video. And yes, I understand that he's stressed because of finals. But that does not mean that he's not getting punished. Chris's punishment will be decided by your vote, Cheesewells. If you must be reminded of those choices, they are in the sidebar, and I will reiterate them at the end of the video. But that's not what I want to talk about today. Today is the resurrection of an old video bloggery tradition. Wait for it. Videobloggery. That's right, it's the return of Fiction Friday. Today I will be telling a story called The Harrowing Quest of Jean-Pierre Willoughby Jr. Part 1, The Cost. Yes, that's right, it's the beginning of a multi-part story. Here goes. There's a place like this in the less reputable part of any town. It's not original, it's not inventive, it's just a seedy bar like any seedy bar anywhere. The furniture is in the same state of disrepair. The hygiene is set at the same low standard. And the clientele is the same hodgepodge of criminals, miscreants, and honest folk who come in to soak up the cliché, but usually find more than they bargained for. Nobody would mistake Jean-Pierre Willoughby Jr. for honest folk. To his credit, he looks like he belongs here. Long coat, hood, dour expression, scarred face. Just the sort of man who'd be sitting in the kind of bar he is sitting in, planning to make the kind of deal he is planning to make. Hoping to make. There's no guarantee. He hasn't even met the man who has the package he wants. But he knows he'll come to this bar. They always do, and more specifically, he always does. Jean-Pierre has done his research, and he knows the man's arrival is imminent. On schedule, he enters the bar. Jean-Pierre sizes him up. He's a bit shorter than Jean-Pierre would have expected from the photograph, but by no means unimposing. Well built, in good shape. He'd have to be. As he enters, someone else gets his attention, and after a whispered conversation, he comes over to Jean-Pierre's seat. "This is my seat," he says, trying to sound tough. "No," Jean-Pierre replies, "that's just a pretext for talking to me." The other man doesn't even try to deny it. "I hear you've been asking about me." "I know. Let's dispense with the pleasantries. You're Antoine Mars, a collector of rare commodities, like myself. You have something I want. I would like to buy it from you, for a considerable amount of money." "And what's that?" "A gauntlet, left arm. You acquired it from the Everett collection last August for $10,000. "I know it," Antoine says. "Then you know it's cursed." Antoine looks at him blankly. Jean-Pierre quickly realizes his mistake. Antoine is not a collector like him. He's a collector, but not like him. "If you believe the legends," he adds, hoping he hasn't missed a beat. "Well, I'm not willing to part with it," Antoine says. "Everyone's willing to part with anything for the right price," Jean-Pierre says. "I will give you $40,000 for the gauntlet." Antoine looks into his eyes, and Jean-Pierre looks back. A decision is about to be made. Antoine is either going to leave this bar a whole lot richer or a whole lot deader. And Jean-Pierre is either going to be a customer or a murderer. Finally, Antoine speaks. "50,000. Done." Jean-Pierre is handing him a wad of bills wrapped in paper before he even finishes the words. 20,000 now, the rest on delivery. Deliver it to me in 6 hours at the location written on the paper." Jean-Pierre does not say what will happen if Antoine fails to deliver the gauntlet. His eyes do the talking. 7 hours later, Jean-Pierre drives out of town, the gauntlet stashed in the trunk of his Oldsmobile. Antoine made the right choice. He kept his life and the money. Jean-Pierre was lucky too. Losing the money was no big deal. When you have to kill someone, there's a greater cost. Jean-Pierre hasn't had to pay that cost. Yet. But earlier, in the bar, when Jean-Pierre said everything had a price, he knew it wasn't true. An empty platitude just to put Antoine in a mood where he'd be willing to make the deal. Some things are worth holding on to at any price, and some things must be obtained no matter what the cost. As he reaches the town limits and sees the open road, Jean-Pierre sighs. "One down," he says. 4 to go. I hope you enjoyed that story, and I hope you're curious to find out more. All will be revealed in later chapters, which will be coming whenever I decide to, not necessarily on a Friday. Now, all of you watching this video must vote on Chris's punishment. The 4 possible punishments are song representation, Star Wars holiday experiment, school uniform, and sonnet recitation. If you want to know what all of those entail, they're in the sidebar. Just pick one of those 4 and vote in the comments. And I'm gonna give you a while to vote. I'll count up the results when I make my next video. That will be 6 days from now. And Chris will have to do whichever one we choose, unfortunately for him. Personally, I'd like him to do the song representation, because that's the least harsh one and I'd really rather go easy on him. But I don't get a vote, so it's up to you guys. And that's pretty much all for this video. Have a nice breakfast.